Okay, now I'm on page 196 in the Big Math book. Let's follow along. Explain how you would use a 10 by 10 grid to model 7%. Well, that's what we were just doing. So if I made a 10 by 10 grid, how much would I shade? Well, I'd shade 7 of them. So I would shade 7 squares of the 10 by 10. Okay, model 1/4 on a 10 by 10 grid. What percent is shaded? Explain. So on number 2, I want you to use your graph paper, make a 10 by 10, and then shade 1/4 of it. Okay, so I'm going to model that. I'm going to model it down here actually, because it would take, I don't have graph paper other than this. So 1/4. So I want 1/4 of 100. Because remember, a 10 by 10 is 100. So to shade 1/4 of it, I need the equivalent amount in hundredths. So what do I multiply 4 by to get it to 100? 25. So I do the same thing to the top. 1 times 25 is 25, so I would have to shade 25 squares on a 10 by 10 to represent 1/4. So there's 10. Another column would be 20. And then 5 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. But again, I want you to not do this here. I want you to do it on scratch paper, graph paper. I don't have that, so I have to use this. And it's much easier and quicker for me to erase. And then explain. You're just going to say 1/4 is equivalent to 25 hundredths. So again, if you don't write that here, I'm going to know that you just fast forward ahead and didn't actually listen to what I said to write for right here. Okay. Number 3, explain how you can model 0.5% on a 10 by 10 grid. Okay. So 0.5, that's less than one of these little squares. And in fact, 0.5 would be exactly half of one of these squares. So I would have to cut one of these squares in half and just shade half of one of those squares. So I would shade half of one of the 100 squares. So not half of 100, but half of one of those 100, just like you see down here. Half of one of those squares would be 0.5%. Okay, how would you model 181% using a 10 by 10 grid? All right, well, we know a 10 by 10 grid is 100%. So I would have to shade in the entire thing, the entire 10 by 10 grid. And that would give me 100%. And then to get the 81%, I would have to actually create another 10 by 10 grid and shade in 81 of these. So 10, 20, 30, each column is 10, so that's the fourth column, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 80, and 81. So now we have 100, and here we have 81% shaded. So that's how I would have to model 181%. I would actually have to use two 10 by 10 grids. So I would, I'm going to say I would make two 10 by 10 grids, and two 10 by 10 grids would be 200 squares, and shade 181 squares. I shaded 100 in the first. I shaded 100 in the first and 81 in the second. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to get rid of these annotations. So if you need them back, you're gonna need to rewind the video. Okay, let's go to the bottom part. The table shows types of meteorites in Meg's collection. Shade a grid to show the ratio comparing the number of each type to the total number. Then write the ratio as a percent. So iron, here's iron, it's 21 out of 100. Here's our grid. We need to shade 21. So each column is 10. There's 10, 20, and 1. So that's 21 out of 100, or 21% or per 100. Okay, stone is 76 out of 100. So as a fraction, that would be 76 out of 100. I need to shade 76, so that's going to be 7 columns, because each column is 10. So 10. Second column makes 20. Third column makes 30. Fourth column makes 40. Fifth column makes 50. Sixth column makes 60. Seventh column makes 70. And then 6 out of this column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that would be 76%. 76 per 100. And then stony iron, that's 3 out of 100. So we just shade 3. 1, 3 little squares, 2, 3. So that is 3 out of 100, or 3%. And notice our numerator out of 100. So whenever we have a fraction out of 100, our numerator is the percent. As long as the denominator is 100, then your numerator is the percent. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.